Hi there, it's Ricky from Moshville Times here once again. I'm delighted to welcome guitarist Jacob and drummer Joe for the thrashcore upstarts Torture Demon. Now, they hail from Oldham in the Greater Manchester area. So, guys, how are you doing? How have you been through lockdown? Is everybody, your friends and family, all safe and things like that?
Yeah.
We've been really lucky, obviously, like to not have been affected by it as much as some people, unfortunately. But yeah, we've been kind of knuckling down and obviously writing and recording the album, and we're really happy with how it's turned out. Yeah.
Yeah. So everything's all cool. That's brilliant to hear. So obviously tomorrow's going to be a big day for you because you're releasing your debut album In Desperations Grip. So how does it feel to get the new songs out there for all the blood after all the blood, sweat, and tears in the making of the songs?
Um, it's a relief because like we've been through so much through lockdown. Obviously, not being able to gig. It's good to have something like, especially something as good as an album. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we feel like because originally we weren't going to do an album before the lockdown all hit and everything. We were planning to do like a 4-track EP. We already had like 4 songs written,
Yeah.
but like when we originally went into lockdown, we just thought, at first it was going to be like we're in this for 3 months, so we thought, oh, good time to get the EP finished. And then it was kind of after that, oh, it's not 3 months, it's going to be like 3 years. So it's kind of yeah. So we just thought may as well just keep writing because obviously the studios weren't open at that time. It was like June, so everything was closed down.
Yeah.
But eventually, we wrote the songs that had become the album. So we still got the EP that we are going to release, but we're probably just going to let those songs kind of sit for a while until we need them. But we wrote we wrote 8 more songs, recorded them, and then we wrote another song, and I did that later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually something I'm going to say later on. You're actually quite prolific songwriters, but I'm actually glad that you decided to do an album because sometimes you listen to an EP and that's the end of the EP and you just want more. Whereas if you write 2, 3, 4 more songs, that's you've got a full length album. So it's
Yeah. Thanks.
great to see that you are doing that. So as I was saying, you're prolific songwriters.
Thank
So
you.
you've
Thanks.
already released 3 singles and an EP before this. I think you started in 2018. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did a bit of a demo slash EP
Yeah,
thing.
it was. We had like a different lineup and things like that, but it was kind of moving like into what we've got now in terms of like the foundation of the band currently. It was January 2020 when we first decided, we're going to go. So obviously we only got like 2 months of actual. Because we had a different vocalist, and obviously like a year in our lifetime is like a really long time. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like a year ago, we were completely different in terms of what we wanted to sound like, the kind of bands that we wanted to kind
Yeah.
of be influenced by, and the way we wanted to go about doing music.
Yeah.
So obviously, when we came into it at the start of 2020, obviously it wasn't a very great time to do it, but
Yeah.
with like the new mindset of what we wanted to do, we're really happy with how it's turned out and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
So was there a couple of months in the summer last year that you could actually get together and rehearse and play together and things like that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we rehearsed basically as soon as the restrictions were eased. We tried to get back at it best we could, obviously, COVID permitting.
Yeah.
And I think, well, considering like the regulations and stuff, I think we've done fairly good for gigging. Like, obviously, it's not like what it should be,
Yeah.
for obvious reasons, but we did played a gig outside in a venue in our local town. That was really fun just to get back out there.
Yeah.
And back in October, we did 2 more gigs indoors, which was really fun.
Yeah, obviously there's live streams and stuff like John like asked us to do the Badgerfest one, which was really fun, and it was great to get like back in actual venue, and play on like the stage at Rebellion.
It just goes to show like how strong the underground scene is, and just the music scene in general, given like it's had a pandemic thrown at it. Like, the economical side of things is just going increasingly downhill, and yet like there's still people like putting on gigs and live streams and what have you. It's something nice to see that.
Yeah, and obviously like the 016 one, and like as I said, John as well have been booking us for stuff, and like really appreciative of like we know there's not that many slots at the minute, and the fact that they wanted to book us and put us on stuff, it really means a lot to us.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. I've kind of fallen into the Manchester scene. James Bennett and John Badger, but we'll talk about Badgerfest later on. But there is a huge scene in Manchester, never mind Glasgow, from where I'm from, But, so I take it that's where most of the material was written then, when you were together for the couple of months during the summer. But what about the times out with that? How were you communicating your ideas to each other?
Pretty much just virtually. Like, we've pretty much grown up with a phone in our hands, like the majority of our lives.
Yeah.
Like, we're that generation, but just virtually, like video calls and what have you.
Obviously, me and Jake were brothers, so we're in the same household anyway. So like all the way through, we've been able to. Although all three of us are kind of involved in the songwriting, usually it's kind of either me or Jake will bring like an initial like rough idea to the table, and then we'll kind of do it as a group. So it's with having both of us like together, and Freddie is only like 5 minutes up the road, so it's just a phone call away really. And obviously when we could meet up, it was really easy to like meet outside and things like that.
Like when the restrictions weren't fully lifted, like we'd meet up in like when they said you could like meet up in a group or in a garden or whatever, we'd be like round the back, just like squeeze together, just playing some riffs and teaching new songs.
Guitar cabs out to the garden.
Yeah. You better watch who's listening to this. You might be in a wee bit of trouble here. So does
with the restrictions, 2 meters apart, when we're allowed. Yeah.
So with Freddie just being like 5 minutes up the road, is he the type of guy that would send you a riff or something like that at 4 o'clock in the morning or something, or does he contribute a lot to the songs as well?
Yeah, like he's wrote a fair bit of the clean rhythms and what have you.
Yeah,
like a lot of the harmonies. Like sometimes he'll just message us, like you said, about 4 a.m, saying, "Oh yeah, I've got this sick riff," and it's pretty funny.
Yeah. But it was obviously like when we were all together, because we used to rehearse at school. Because obviously I've left, and then COVID kind of did all its stuff.
Yeah.
So it's we were rehearsing every week at school, and we had like a good few hours like on every Monday to just like rehearse. Obviously, teacher permitting, because we used to get told off for being too loud if like assessments in the next door and stuff like that. But it was good, like all three of us being in a room like on a regular basis. Like we wrote like obviously the EP that never was, but Freddie did contribute quite a bit towards that, because it was kind of, we all work best when we're all together, just jamming and letting the ideas flow.
Cool. Thanks very much for that, guys.
No worries.
So for those that are new to the band then, how would you say In Desperations Grip compares to your early material? And do you think you've found the sound that you've been looking for with your latest, with the new album?
We're fairly happy, really happy with like how it's turned out. Like we didn't really want to go and just sound like a cliched like thrash band or metalcore band. We just wanted to like pretty much just sound like us, like not really care about like the stereotypes or whatever, just have fun doing it and just make an album that we're happy with and that's fun to play.
Yeah, it was on the EP. We obviously, as I said, we had a different lineup, and we had obviously Jacob wasn't doing vocals at the time. We were just solely focused on guitar. So it was obviously you approach it in an entirely like different way, and obviously we were a lot younger as well. Like Jacob was only like 12 when we wrote the EP, so it was
just messing about, like
the
stupidest riffs and just sort of, we wanted to just have the experience at a young age, so just messing about in a studio and just
recorded live as well, bits of it, like like all in the same room together, and it was great. It was like our first time in a studio, so obviously we didn't really know what to expect, but we learned quite a bit from that then we brought into the process for the album. And obviously working with Ant Booth at Kesbury Studios, he's really knowledgeable guy, extremely professional, and obviously he's taught us a lot of stuff and like kind of shown us the ropes of what to do in that sort of situation.
So you're obviously a three-piece just now, but when times are better, do you see yourself getting like another guitarist or anything like that? Or are you going to continue as a three-piece, do you think?
Honestly, like it depends how we're feeling about it. Like if we find the right guy that's like same mindset as us, then it very well could happen get another guitarist. But at the same time, we're content how we are. So
Yeah.
we're just kind of gonna take it how it comes. If we find someone who's down to do it and is same music style and genre playing ability as us, it could very well happen.
Yeah, we said it's kind of like as a three piece. We've found like since we've gone to this, it's been working for us. Like in terms of only having three people, and obviously we're in the same house, and it's only just Freddie that we need to
Like,
negotiate calendars with. So
I
it's
don't, I
kind of
don't, I don't understand how like 5-piece bands work. Like I've got credit where it's due because like it's hard just enough for just three members. It's just like the minimal amount of people to keep like in line and teach the parts and stuff.
yeah. We
Because
said
the only thing I worry about a three-piece is when it's on the live front, especially when the guitarist has like a lead. So all you hear is the lead and there's nothing in the background. It can sometimes sound empty. That's why I like, the two guitarists, you know?
Yeah,
yeah, we said potentially, as I said, if we found someone who's perfect,
Yeah.
but if we're not really want to dive in and get another guy in if they're not going to suit us and like what we're going for, because really we want it to be as good as it is before we get them.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be like hassle of like teaching someone the parts who's maybe not into it as much as we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks very much. Thank you for that. So,
thank you.
of course, we have to mention that you've got a release in Asia through Japanese label Spiritual Beast, and that is pretty huge. So you have to explain how that all came about, and you must be super excited about that. That's a huge market over there. So how did that come about?
Yeah. It was one day we just out of the blue just got an email from a woman called Yumi who works at the label and just introduced herself and said what she does and everything and just said she's seen our social medias that we've got an album coming out and just said love to hear it. So at first we were like a little bit like should we send them the album before it's out, but we just thought we'll just go for it and send it to them. And they said they listened to it and the distribution people listened to it and they just said they love it and they want to put it out. So we're like shocked and surprised.
Yeah.
So I imagine when the world's in a better place, that'll be an Asian tour you'll be going on as well.
Well, I don't know.
It could very well happen.
Yeah,
it's potential. I don't know.
Yeah. So is there any sign of interest over in this neck of the woods then? Oh, you're not allowed to say, or am I getting an exclusive?
We do have a few contacts, but like obviously we're trying to do like this album In Desperations Grip independent over here, and like if a label approaches us or whatever, then that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But like it's not always about just getting signed or whatever. Obviously we are like really like beyond happy with getting signed in Asia and Japan, but at the end of the day it's about enjoying it. It's not all about like getting signed to a big label or whatever. Like obviously that is like a goal of ours in the future, but like it's fun just doing it ourselves as well. But,
yeah. It's great, like when you have the box of CDs in your bedroom that you have to like pack everything up and like yeah.
I take it there's also a good side as well. You don't have any pressure from anybody. You can do it at your own pace. So talking about your own pace, then was there a chance that the album could have been released last year?
Potentially, yeah, because we recorded the initial 8 tracks in August.
Okay.
And then we went back we were meant to go back in late November to record the other song that we wrote after we recorded the initial 8.
Yeah.
We ended up because the lockdown, like it was coming in like on like something like the 8th of November or something. We had to kind of rush it and go back in like as soon as we could get the song finished, and but it came out like as good as the rest of the album, we think anyway. So it worked out, but Yeah, it was all like mixed and mastered and everything by kind of mid-December, I think. So we could have potentially put it out. It's December and early January. Typically for releases, it's not really the best time to put stuff out because people's attention's like on Christmas and New Year and
Yeah.
everything else like that. So we just thought we'd better off just waiting until February and put it out then.
Yeah.
Actually, excellent. Thanks very much for that, guys. So,
Right.
you also released a video for Cold Blood. So, is there a plan to release another video to coincide with the new album, or has maybe COVID put that to bed for just now?
Um, I wouldn't say it's likely for this current album, but for further releases, we are definitely going to look into more music videos. Not only because like this so fun to do, but like it's a good like marketing tool. Like when we released the video for Cold Blood, like the sales for merch and stuff just went like through the roof. Like beyond happy like with how that went.
Yeah, like we weren't expecting like all the orders because we were really happy with the amount of orders that we had up to that point. And we thought, oh, this is like it's doing really well. And then we put that out, and it was pretty much like multiple orders like every day coming in, and it's like far surpassed like our expectations or
Definitely.
like what we expected. And obviously, there's a lot of like amazing support from a lot of people like all around the country and like some people in the world. So it really means a lot to have all the people behind us who want to buy our stuff. But yeah.
Well, cool. It's certainly another marketing tool. But where was the video recorded then, and who recorded it for you?
It was recorded at Atlas Studios in Bolton, which is like a really nice. It's kind of like an old mill, like an entire mill floor. It's got like multiple different rooms and things. It's all just kind of like pretty much like original.
Yeah.
And it was really creepy in there, like at night, because it just kind of
before we started shooting, me, Freddie, and my friend who played like the hooded figure, we were just like running around it, just being like the biggest kids ever, and it was just so fun because like he's still got all the machinery in. It was like, just kids being kids. I
had to do something while I set my drums up. So yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe you had partial media as well. Sorry.
Maybe you had too much fun because you must have been running about for too long, because it looked as if when you recorded video it was at night time, so you'd probably scared yourself shitless doing the video in that mill,
Yeah, well, it was dark when we arrived, so it was yeah.
No, good stuff. So with Jacob being the lead vocalist for the band, then do you do all the lyrics for the songs, or is Torture Dream a band where all members contribute to the lyrics?
It is for the most part all of us, but for further things, like we have been writing some new stuff already. Like obviously it's not going to be released for quite a while yet, but I kind of want to center like some of the next material kind of center about like life experiences and stuff that's kind of personal to me, but as well as keeping like the group like ethic into it as well. So that's usually how we write lyrics, but
yeah. So see how you touched on earlier, like Freddie doing the more rhythm stuff. He's the clean vocalist. One of the things I like about a band is having more than one vocalist, because in the live environment, I think it adds so much to a song. So does he kind of contribute the lyrics to the cleaner parts, so that he knows how to?
Yeah, like sometimes we just all sit in a circle and Freddie will just like sing a rhythm or whatever, and like say I'll maybe even put a harmony under it over the guitar and layer it or whatever, and that's usually how a lot of the clean choruses and harmonies turn out, really.
Yeah, and obviously like when we were rehearsing again at school when we wrote those 4 songs, that kind of we played them live at like Metal to the Masses and stuff, but like they've kind of gone to bed now. It was like there's a couple of them where Freddie had like just play something and then he'd dive on his guitar, I'd dive on my drums, and before we know it, we've got a song. Like there's some of the like the quickest songs to put together that we've done, really, because we were all just like in a room, like rehearsing.
Yeah. No, cool. Thank you. So was there anything that you'd done differently between recording of the debut album to that of the EP and this, well, self-titled EP is the singles as well, and that you'll maybe take going forward to the next release? Was it how you recorded it, the sound, the setup, anything?
Yeah, we definitely put a lot more effort into the production this time, like trying out different cabinets with guitar heads, getting the right sound, tweaking mics and all that, and getting the right sound in the monitors in our ears and what have you.
Well, Ant did, Ant Booth at Kesbury, but yeah. But we put a lot more effort into kind of like, because obviously, as I said, when we did the EP, it was our first time really going into a studio, and we didn't really know what to expect. There's only so many like Glenn Fricker videos you can watch, like to find out like what it's like in a studio. But yeah, we did like a booklet of like production notes and things to make sure like we wouldn't forget anything, because that was kind of one of the regrets on the EP. There was stuff that we were like, oh yeah, we've got to put that in that we just forgot to put in.
So we wanted to go in and write something that we'd be proud of. We'd say like 5-10 years time, and like still like be proud to play them songs and what have you.
Yeah. No, cool. That's excellent. Thank you. So things seem to now be fairly settled on the band members front. So when constructing new material and with the band members having their own personal taste in music, how would you say you keep it all together, for example, when negotiating what stays in and what stays out of a song?
It's very kind of, to be honest, we don't really have many of those kind of discussions, because we all kind of, although like we're three very different people, we all share the same vision for like how we want the band to sound in terms of like what kind of styles we want to go for. And generally, if one person's feeling, oh, it could go going into one of these sections here, the two of the other people are thinking the exact same thing or something very similar. So usually, if it comes to like multiple people got different ideas, we'll kind of just play them both, and then usually the three of us will all agree like which one would fit the best.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, cool. To be honest, I was quite disappointed with your answer, because I was expecting like fisticuffs in the studio and blood in the walls and all that rest of it, But no, you seem to be like a tight, cohesive unit, and you just seem to be solely in it for the music, focused on the music.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's like we don't want it to sound like just your generic thrash metal band. We want it to sound like this might sound like a bit like, I don't know, but we want it to sound like us. Like we want it to be our like own sound, and try and get something original out of it, and not just like copy every like metalcore or thrash band. Try and make our own thing.
Because obviously, like we're drawing from like a few different kind of genres, but mainly like thrash and like core that we kind of try and bring together. But it's kind of hard to do it in a way that like you're not going to annoy people on either side. But yeah, we just try and go for like because obviously we listen to both kind of together anyway, in terms of our tastes in music, and different people listen to different things. So it's kind of, we just write what we want to write, and it usually turns out, well, obviously we're always happy with it because it's kind of the way we want it to sound. But yeah.
I thought like, especially for like Cold Blood, for example, I thought there were more metalcore vocals but thrash music. So you are trying to like merge them and create something a wee bit different, which is good.
Yeah,
thanks. Yeah.
So where do you rehearse and where do you record your songs then?
Well, obviously over in our neck of the woods, we've gone into another lockdown, unfortunately.
Everyone has.
Well, yeah. Forgot about
that.
Yeah. But we would usually rehearse at a place called Redwall Studios in Bury.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously recently that's kind of been put a stop to.
Yeah.
But like everyone there is like so kind, and like really nice place to rehearse.
Yeah. It's run by two people called Sheldon and Carl, and they know the stuff and everything. We recorded the Japanese bonus track there, and it was all mixed and everything, and recorded by Sheldon.
Yeah, really fast with mixing and mastering, like really production on that.
Yeah. But they're two really nice people and everything. They let us keep all our gear there and everything, so it's we don't have to like take carfuls every time. But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the recording. Sorry. We record at Kesbury Studios in Bolton, and it's run by Ant Booth. Yeah.
Cool. So in a normal world, how often would you get to rehearse? How often would you go to Redwall?
Well, we usually it's usually when we can, when like the world's more normal and people are allowed indoors and all that. We do one rehearsal on a weekend here. Like Freddie will bring like his basses round and we'll just have a jam, and then uh the next week we will go Redwall and have like about a 6 hour session there.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like it's pretty much every weekend, but it kind of alternates between here and there. But obviously, it's kind of both have kind of been thrown out the window a little bit for the time being.
Yeah.
But we're just doing what we can. But yeah.
So do you play your instruments in your house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
Got like a spare bedroom.
neighbours must love
So,
you guys. The neighbours must love you guys then, eh?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's loud. We live like on a main road, and like when I walk out the house, like I'm on like the other side of the road, and sometimes Joe's playing his drums. I can hear it. I'm just like, we're messing with people's heads now.
But yeah. My mum said like she was looking from like the upstairs window and she see people like walking along the street being like, what's that? But yeah.
As long as you don't get any ASBOs and get kicked out of the house or anything like that, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been all right. Like we've been playing here for like all our lives pretty much, and so yeah, we've had no problems really. So
I mean, you do have the occasional. Like I remember, I was just looking out the window playing my guitar, and it wasn't that loud. And I live like near my high school, and I'm just looking out the window. One of my teachers stops, turns his head, and just stares inside of like into my house for like 5 minutes, just staring at me. I'm like, okay.
I think you're going to have to build a studio or something like that in the middle of the woods or something, so you don't disturb anybody.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing thrash, you know. So,
Yeah.
So there'll of course be no live shows in the near future, but there's a wee bit of hope on the horizon now. You know, there's hopefully going to be some restrictions lessened in next month. You know, so do you have plans for like maybe later on in the summer and towards the end of the year?
Yeah, we've got our album launch night that's meant to be going ahead in around April time. But if it's unable to go ahead, we'll push it back. Like we won't cancel it or anything like that. And in October we have Badgerfest, which like that's it's been our dream to play on that for the longest time.
Yeah.
Now we'll talk about that in a wee minute. But are you thinking of like doing like traveling the UK or something like that? Maybe 3, 4, 5 dates throughout the UK?
Well, we've got we were meant to be in April this year playing a couple of dates on the Zentrix tour. That's been pushed back to next year.
I was looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've obviously we've got it. This had to be pushed back, but it's kind of it's better to be safe than doing it when you're not allowed to. But yeah, we've obviously we've heard as well. There's been a venue upgrade in Manchester, which it gives us something to look forward to. Like we've never played the Academy before, so all three of us are like really excited to play.
Buzzing as well, because especially it's been a venue upgrade. Like the tickets must just be going like that. Like I can tell it's gonna be mental in the pit on them dates.
Yeah.
Well, you better get rehearsing then, eh?
Yeah.
But talking of Badgerfest, then I see you're playing Badgerfest, in which I am coming down for, by the way.
Yeah.
So you must be looking forward to these gigs then.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. As we said, like really thankful to John for wanting us to be on the bill and everything, and obviously the panel voted us onto it, and honestly we'd never expected that we'd be playing it at all for a good few years yet, and to be offered a slot this early on in being a band really means a lot to us. But yeah.
I mean, us at Moshville Times, we've got a close relationship with John Badger, and we do everything that we can to promote Badgerfest. And in the 4 or 5 years that it's been going, it's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. So it's certainly something that I'm really looking forward to coming down and seeing. But so how did you get yourselves onto the bill yourself?
It was back in, I think it was early June. A band unfortunately had to pull out from the lineup, which I know is never, the best thing. But John was looking for a band to open on the Sunday, and he just put out a post asking for bands to like drop the links for things. And we'd already been booked to do the live stream like a couple of weeks before this.
Yeah.
But we just put our links down. Obviously, we never expecting to actually get on it because there was like hundreds and hundreds of comments. Like I know John gets spammed like every single day with bands still now asking to play. But we did the live stream about, I think it was 2 weeks or something after that, and then about a week went by and we just got a phone call out of the blue from him, and like we're never expecting. It was originally we thought it was something to do with the the live stream that we'd just done, like some details about it or something, or something along those lines. When he said you built it up, like I was like, hang on a minute, what's this? But he just said panel shortlisted, and then we picked the band that we wanted to go on it, and it's you. And we were like, we're over the moon, because it was kind of like I said, we'd never expected to get on it, like especially like this early on in we've only been going like with this lineup for about 6 months at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really means a lot to us that we're going to get to play it, and
Can't wait.
we're really thankful for the opportunity, and we're sure that like a lot of bands, including us, would have like killed to get on that bill, and really thankful for John for having us.
I mean, you've just got to look at the size of the headliners now, Rage and Speed Horn. I'm really looking forward to them. But is there any other bands in the bill that you guys are particularly looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, there's a few. Fetal Juice for one.
Yeah.
Like they are brutal. Like
yeah. There's a lot of like bands that have like helped us out, or bands that we've met like since we started, like Ashen Crown, Ashen Reach, Illyrian, Clash Mute. There's loads more. Like I know people are gonna be mad at me for forgetting them, but like I know there's like a load of bands like on the bill that have been like really nice to us, and we're really looking forward to meeting all of them. And those are the bands that we've never even like met yet because of COVID, and we're looking forward to watching them play and everything.
Yeah, I can't wait, because the lineup as a whole is just amazing. Like John's really like, he's got a really good lineup. Like it's an honour to be playing with like so many good bands as well.
It'll certainly be a learning curve for you as well on the day, But yeah, kudos to you for getting on it, because
thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. I think this is only just going to get bigger and bigger. So well done. So,
thank you. Thanks.
You got a couple of local guys to help out with a couple of things with the new album then. So Kieran Scott for the artwork and Drew Scott for the photography. So how again did all this come about? And you must be over the moon with the results.
Yeah, like Kieran, he's such a nice guy. He actually did our logo for us quite a while back, about 9 months ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and he did it for free, like totally free of charge, just to help us out of goodwill. And then when we were getting ready to do the album artwork, we asked him how much it would be, and he gave us like a really cheap quote for like what the album artwork was and what other like people were trying to charge us. And then when we first met Drew, at the first 0161 like showcase that we played at back in December, and like he's always at the 0161. He's such a nice guy, and like I don't think he's ever taken a bad picture. Like his pictures are seriously amazing.
Yeah.
But do you think he would show you the bad pictures? You see, he's got a delete button,
Yeah, good point. But everyone that he shows us is, it's
top notch.
Yeah, he's like one of the best, if not like the best, like in Manchester or just the Northwest. Everything's like he puts 110% into everything, like whether it's editing or actually taking the shots or coming down, to do photo shoots with us.
Such a nice guy as well. Like the promo shots he did like completely free of charge for us. Wow. Like that was just amazing. Like, so it was a really fun time to go out and have a photo shoot with him as well.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the well, I see that Drew's now the official tog for Badgerfest as well, but John's asked me to interview every single band on the bill as well, so I've got my way around quite a few. Ashen Crown being one of them, so that was how I got to meet Kieran. Kieran's a good guy as well, but I interviewed Drew last month as well. He's a really sound guy as well, so he works for us as well. So keeps him busy.
Yeah.
So well, I've only got one or two wee small questions left. So what's next for Tortured Demon then? Are you going to think about releasing this EP like late summer or something?
Well, I can't really say too much because we don't want to give too much away, but
This album's not even out yet.
yeah. Our aim is to get back out there as soon as we can, start promoting our debut album. And then who knows, like, I might be saying too much here, but we're probably going to be doing another album, like, possibly next year. Like, we've already been starting writing for it, and, like, I've got to say, dropped this thing. I've got to say myself, like, I'm already, like, really happy with how it's sounding already, just, like, even just jamming a few songs that, like, we haven't released yet or whatever.
Yeah, we kind of like, we write a lot more songs than what we actually need. So I think we wrote like 15 going into the album. We just picked like the 9 that work best together. So I think we're already on like 7 or 8 for the next one. Now, not including the ones that we already had, just like left over from the album. So it's we're just trying to write as many songs as we can, and then obviously when it comes, like when we feel like this one's been out long enough, we can just kind of like pick which songs we want to put onto the next album.
It's kind of like our aim is to sort of take what we've done on In Desperations and try and improve like try and improve on that, like where like some of the flaws were in the album, like make them flaws better, and like try and elevate our sound as much as we can and try and release something even better.
Yeah, like if we're not ready to kind of go in and do something that's as good or better, you know, we're probably better off just waiting until we are, because it's obviously we've got the album coming out, and we can take a good, year, yeah.
So Jacob, was it the drummer's fault then for the flaws in the album then?
Oh yeah, it's all his fault.
Definitely, yeah.
Drums and bassists, yeah.
Good stuff.
That's what we did, Metallica and Justice for All, but with drums and bass.
Just turn them down.
Well, actually, talking about our musical instruments, then I want to find out what you used in the recording of the album. So we start off with yourself, Jacob. Then.
I used all Jackson guitars. I have a Jackson JS32 in just like a red colour, passive pickups, just really simple setup. And then I have a Jackson JS32 7Q, which is a 7-string that I play in drop A, and I play my 6-string in drop B and C sharp standard. And then for amps, I used a PV 6505. You just use the quintessential metal amp, and I used a Zilla 2x12 cabinet with V30 speakers in.
Yeah, that was Ant's gear, like from the studio that he already had there. So it was really nice, like that he let us use it, and it sounded really good.
Yeah.
In front of the amp, I used just your bog standard Maxon TS9 tube screamer, decimator, and then I think we used a few effects. We used a phaser, flanger, chorus, and then like this insane pedal that like it doesn't even have a name. The name for it is the Twin Earth. Like you stomp on it, it's basically just goes.
Yeah.
No, cool. So I take it when you're going to be playing in a live environment, then you're going to be using the 2 guitars, because like you say, you've got a 6 and you've got a 7-string as well. So it depends what song you play as to what guitar you use.
Yeah, like my live setup is like really similar to the one that I use in the studio. I've got the 6205 head, but it's the plus edition, and a 4x12 cabinet, which is basically got Peavy's version of the vintage 30 speakers in it. And just a Tube Screamer Mini. Yeah.
So are you notorious for breaking strings at a gig?
A gig, I've actually never broke a string. Like, I've gone out of tune a fair amount of times, especially on like the first gig we ever did. Like, I used to play like a Floyd Rose guitar, and it was a mistake. Like, I'll probably never play a Floyd Rose guitar that's like cheaply made, because that one was like, after like one song, like the bridge just totally slipped back and just went. Like, every time I try and do a chug, it just sound like a pancake.
But yeah.
No, brilliant stuff. What about yourself, Joe? What do you use? What's your
I used my Yamaha Stage Custom. It's an old birch kit. Used a 22 bass drum, 8, 10, 12, 16 toms, and a recording custom Yamaha brass 14 by 6.5 snare, which is like a metal snare. It really like it cut through like the mix, like even like the raw tones that we're getting out of the drums, like in the studio. Like I'm really impressed with like how it was all sounding and everything, especially like obviously Ant's got like a really high end mic. So
any triggers or anything? Like,
no, it's all just like there's no, in terms of like the bass drum and everything and the toms, I'm pretty sure there's like no samples or anything. Like what you're hearing is like the sound of the drums. Like, so it's like an old school way of going about it.
A little bit of compression, that was it, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my thrash metal, but I'm more into the death metal. And one of the biggest things for me in the drums is double bass. I love double bass. So the more you have and the faster they are, the more I like your music.
I'm sure you'll like this. Yeah.
Yeah. I was using Zildjian cymbals as well. All A's, Z's, and A customs, and Tama Iron Cobra pedals, and yeah, that was it.
Yeah. So see how you were talking about the snare there. Did you have to like filter it or change it at all, or was it pretty much, hey, that sounds good? Or did you have to tweak it a wee bit?
Obviously there's like gating going on, like as it would with anything, and there's obviously like this standard like reverb and compression, but in terms of the snare sound, it's basically just the drum as it sounds. Like I stuck a Remo P77 head on it, and it just comes to life. It's a really good drum. Obviously, like I'd wanted it for so many years, like before I could finally save up the money to get it. And I'm really lucky, to have it. Like I got it a couple of months like before we went into the studio, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, the crack on that snare, especially on the recording, is just like insane.
You're just dying to play it in a live environment, but that time will come. So what about the drumsticks? What drumsticks do you use? I
use ProMark. I've got like I'm not like endorsed or anything. I won a competition a couple of years ago to have like some signature ones made. So they say like they've got like my initials and Tortured Demon on them. They're based on the TX2BN sticks, which is basically like a 2B stick with nylon tip. And I've basically got them with like the red font on them, and I've got like a massive box of them. Like I'm probably
nearly 70 pairs.
Yeah, it'll probably last me till I'm like 30. But yeah,
that's absolutely brilliant, guys. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And I wish you guys all the best. But where would we find Tortured Demon on social media then?
We're on Instagram is just Tortured Demon, no capitals, no spaces. Facebook is the same, but the O's are zeros. And Twitter is Tortured Demon UK, obviously no spaces or anything. And we're on like, in terms of music, we're on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, everything else, YouTube.
Everything.
Yeah, the album is available at Big Cartel, which is tortureddemon.bigcartel.com.
Excellent. Thanks very much for that. Like I say, you'll probably have a sleepless night tonight with the big release tomorrow. So I wish you guys all the best for it. I'm certainly looking forward to coming down to Badgerfest, but who knows? I might see you in Glasgow first with Zentrix. Who knows?
Thank you. Well, we're not playing. We've got London and Manchester.
But, have you?
Yeah.
Fine. We weren't going to let you over the border anyway. That's fine. No, I look forward to seeing you at Badgerfest, if not before. But I wish you guys the best of luck. All right.
Thanks.
See you in a
You
bit.
too.
Cheers now.
Thanks.